Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Justice by Byjohn Galsworthy. The important themes of this play is critique of the rigid legal system, that is, legal system is partial towards the rich people and only the poor gets punished, morality versus legality, social inequality, injustice in the justice system, and the dehumanizing effects of imprisonment and society's stigma. That is, when you go to the jail, how you are being cornered and how much you are suffering mentally. Physical suffering is different, but how the people who are going to the prison are also mentally suffering is also shown here in this play. And the important characters are William Falder, Ruth Honeywell, Robert Coxon, James and Walter Howe. Coxon, he is the managing clerk for the firm of James and Walter. And Coxon is interrupted one July morning when one woman comes in and asks for the junior clerk Falder. The woman addresses herself as Ruth Honeywell, and she seemed to be very much disturbed. And it is according to the office rules, private matters cannot be discussed during the office hours in the office premises. But seeing her in a great distress, Coxon says, "Okay, you can go and see Falder." Now we come to know that Falder and Ruth Honey are lovers, and Ruth Honey is already married and she has two children, but she is harassed by her drunken brute husband. And Falder is seriously in love with her, even though he is much younger than her. And now she comes and she says that the torture done by her husband is too great, like he has come to actually cut her neck. So she had escaped with her two children and she says that she will not go back to him. And Falder says that he has already made arrangements and he asks her to come along with the two children and meet him at the railway station that night. Then Ruth leaves and Falder goes back to work. Now young Walter Howe, he comes to the office, and Coxon, he is very skeptical of the young man's desire to keep the firm not only on the right side of the law but also on the right side of ethics. And James Howe, he enters from the partner's room. He and Walter starts checking the firm's balance, and they decide that it is not the same as what it should be, because the previous day they had checked and it was something near 400 pounds, but now it is showing somewhere near only 300 and some odd pounds. So in order to check why such a big amount, that is nearly about 81 pounds, is differing, so they take and they check and they find out that a check written the previous Friday had been altered from 9 to 90 pounds. That is, TY is added to 9 now. And the check has been cashed on the same day. And on that day only, another junior clerk named Davis had gone away on some firm business to Australia. So Coxon was quickly cleared because he is not involved in this. But it is said that Davis had given the check to Coxon and Coxon did not come and cash it. And then they start checking and they find out that the check stump had been altered after Davis had started on his trip. So naturally Davis also couldn't have done this. So the only other person is Falder. So they call him and they question him. And Falder comes there and the cashier is also called, and the cashier identifies Falder as the man who came and encashed the check. Now James Howe accuses Falder. Falder accepts his mistake. He says that he is the one who had taken 90 instead of 9 and had done this change in the check, and he asks for mercy. And he also says that he will repay him, and he tells everything. He says, "I was planning to go to America and settle down there, and I thought that before Davis could come, because in case if Falder does not accept, then this fault will go on Davis, and it is a serious crime, and Davis will have to face severe punishment for this." But he says, "I thought that I'll inform you as soon as I go to America, and I also wanted to repay the money after confessing to you, and I was planning to do all this before Davis could come back and get into trouble." And so he says, "Please forgive me," but how he is convinced that he has done this crime, and he says, "No, I cannot accept such a person to be here, and I cannot allow this crime to go unnoticed. So he asks for the police to come, and Falder gets arrested. And when the court comes to the when the case comes to the court, from is Falder's counsel, and he tries to ask for mercy. He says that Falder was not in a mental state to think and do what is correct and what is wrong, and only Ruth Honeywell's position, her distress and her cruelty from her husband was in his mind, and it had really upset him. And in order to save her only, he has done this, and he accepts. He says, my client accepts what he has done and he will repay the money. Please show mercy because he is too young. And from called Coxon as the first witness, and he also gives a very good impression about Falder. Then Ruth is also called as a witness, and she says that my husband came to kill me on that night, so I ran away and came. And she also says that Falder had did this only for my sake, but I didn't know that he has done this, but I am very sure that he did it only to save me. And Cleavier, who is the counsel for the prosecution, says that he tries to first frame her as an undutiful wife who is having affair with a young man when she is married and she has 2 children. And then Fromm tries to press the point that Falder was definitely out of his mind at that time, but Cleaver says no, and he breaks even that. He says that he knew what he was doing because he knew how to change the check, encash the amount, and then he has also changed in the folder. So definitely he was in a good state of mind and he knew what he was doing, and therefore the jury also find Falder guilty, and the judge sentences him for 3 years imprisonment. And it is Christmas time, and Coxon goes to the prison and meets Falder, and he tries all his level to try to release him from solitary confinement, and he also asks for permission to bring Ruth Honeywell to see Falder, but he is not able to do it because the chaplain and the prison governor do not accept it. They are indifferent to his appeal. And when Falder is finally released on parole, Ruthwell went to intercede for him at house office, and she says to them that she is living with another man because she was not able to earn her own living. So she has left her husband now, but she is living with another man, and she also requests them to give back his job. And Falder goes to Coxon, and he says that he is also wanting to leave that place and go, but he is not able to work anywhere else and earn his living. So he is totally depressed and he is ill at ease. And he says that he has seen Ruth only once since his release, and James Howe makes it very clear that if Falder refused to abide by strict standards of justice, definitely the firm will not take him back. So they say that you should not have any contact with Ruth because anyway it seems to be an illegal affair, but Falder feels it is very difficult for him to be away from Ruth because he loves her so much. And James Howe says that Ruth Honeywell is anyway living with another man, and this news falls as a crude news to Falder. And then he gives Falder and Ruth an opportunity to talk over their situation. And while they are talking in a side room, the detective sergeant comes looking for Falder because Falder had not reported to the police according to the parole agreement. So he has to be rearrested. Now, Howe and Coxon, they refuse to tell the whereabouts about Falder, but the detective finds that Falder is in the side room along with Ruth. So he goes and he rearrests him, and Falder at this time suddenly breaks loose and he jumps through the window and kills himself. And here ends the play. The social revolutionary significance of justice consists not only in the portrayal of the inhuman system which grinds Falders and the honeys which are in this world, but at the same time it is even more so when it is the society is utterly helpless. And these are confirmed with the words of the senior clerk Coxon when he says, "No one will touch him now, never again. He is safe with gentle Jesus." And the play ends here. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.